Ladies and gentlemen, we have our special guest here this afternoon, the Luxembourg Minister of Sport, Miss Hodson. Would you please come up and have a few words?
Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, dear organizers, dear volunteers, dear athletes, I must say it's really a big and great pleasure for me being here today at the first Predator EUROTOUR in Luxembourg. And I would like, first of all, to warmly congratulate the Luxembourgish Federation, Billiards Federation, especially its pool section, for organizing this international event. And yes. This is really an important milestone for our sport in Luxembourg. So thank you very much for your work. And because hosting a competition of this level, and well, I had not been here yet, but I saw some pictures on the TV and on Luxembourgish TV, and it's really a competition of a high level. And it's the very first time in Luxembourg, and I think it is true recognition of the work accomplished over many years by Federation officials, clubs, volunteers, and those passionate about this discipline. So after the last days here in Luxembourg, it was a meeting point for European billiards, bringing together some of the best female and male players on the continent, and I must say that I'm really proud of it. Having this here in Luxembourg. And you know, sport is unique. Sport has a unique ability to bring people together beyond borders, languages, and generations. And billiards, I don't know it really, but I was told that it is a demanding discipline, combining precision, self-control, concentration, and fair play. And this perfectly reflects the values that we seek to promote in our society. So, and I would also underline the importance of the work carried out by volunteers and organizers, without whom such an event would not be possible. So your commitment, your passion deserve our sincere recognition. And finally, I sincerely hope that this first edition of the Predator Luxembourg Open will be, or was already, a great success, and perhaps it marks the beginning of a long tradition, perhaps. You never know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Welcome back to GRIDX and the second set of semi-finals here at the Predator Luxembourg Open, part of the Predator EUROTOUR series. Firstly, on table 2, fighting for the right to face Mate Europero in the final, will you welcome, from Germany, Ina Kaplan. And her opponent, also from Germany, Pia Filler. And on to table 1 with the second men's semi-final and the right to face Wojciech Szewczak in the final. Firstly, from Germany, Joshua Filler. And will you welcome his opponent, Victor Zelensky. The men's match is a race to 9 and the women a race to 7, and your referees in charge are on table 2, Bojana Banda of Serbia. And here on table 1, Iva Poskochilova of Czechia. Players, you may lag for the break.
And Pro Billiard TV, yes, you join us for the second of our men's semi-finals here at the Predator Luxembourg Open. And this has all the makings of a real sparkler. Joshua the Killer Filler from Germany taking on Victor the Wiz Zelensky. And my name is Gethin Davis. Joining me in the comms box for my ever insightful Aya Sarabi. Well, we've had a few hours to stew over this battle, Aya. What are your thoughts early on coming into this?
Hi, Gethin, and glad to be with you, and hi, pool fans. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot to be said about this matchup, isn't it, Gethin? This is good enough to grace any final in any stage and in any tournament. And you could argue, Gethin, Victor Zelensky should not even be sitting in that chair, because in his previous match, Alexa Pachelye had a very comfortable tempo to win it, and he wobbled it and left it into the hole now, or over the hole, I should say. And you could say, Gethin, because Victor probably should have been out, maybe it's destined for him to go all the way.
Yeah, that's a real good spot. I did catch the end of that match, and, well, it maybe was destiny. And he's won the lag here, and we'll get the first of his set of 2 breaks that will alternate between the two. He's made a ball, left a very thin cut on this one. Going on earlier results higher, Joshua has had, or rather made, quite an easy route of it. He had one little potential stumbling block early on day 1, where he had a hill thriller against Adam Stankiewicz, where he bested him. But all in all, it's been a very comfortable 4 days at the office for Josh. I would probably have him down a slight favourite, but as you've alluded to, Victor Zelensky can be an absolute monster. He's playing the 2 onto the 4. I'm guessing the 2 is going to track down towards the top right corner pocket. He's going to need to move the cue ball back around the table. That's gone wrong, Aya. It's called the reverse bank, but that has gone wrong. I thought he was going to play that a little bit harder, or try to play the 4 slightly thinner.
Yeah, it's still early days, and this is to be expected, even when you have 2 very experienced players like these 2 at the table. In the beginning, it's always a little bit touch and feel.
Good line. How's the result? I think that's worked out nicely,
Great
Aya.
shot. Yeah, it has, and he's on the 5. Not without a bit of luck, has to be said, but look, he's played the aggressive shot and he's got rewarded for it. I have no problem with that in any scenario. Unless it happens to me, of course.
Well, yeah, we're at the stage of the tournament, and we're at the caliber of players where it really needs to be offense. Of course, both players fully capable of putting their opponent in and getting out of problems, but these guys really not looking to let their opponent to the table.
I mean, we must be careful not to think too much ahead, but normally when you have a matchup like this, you just don't expect too many misses.
No, you don't. But you do tend to find that them rare misses can be the match shifters. And Victor playing a really nice shot there to come this side of the night.
Acknowledged by Joshua as well, tapping his leg. That was a beautiful positional shot, really was. Might have seemed very innocuous, but let me tell you, he played that to perfection. And the 10 ball to get off to a, well, flying start, really.
Yeah, going with his break, Aya. The first point on the board. He will get to the table for a second break as well in this 2 break per player alternating format. Players have to break outside the box in this 10 ball format, and good signs early doors for Victor. Over on our other table, we have an all-German affair in the second of the women's discipline. Ina Kaplan taking on Joshua Filler's wife, Pia Filler. I wonder if there'll be some glances and exchanges over the 2 tables. They are next to each other, you'll see in the background, and a great crowd here. Look like they're having fun as well.
Yeah, we talked about this at the beginning of the program. This matchup, Gethin, I'm sure you would agree, is more than good enough to grace any final. And it really deserves a packed crowd. It really does. And, you know, just to bring to you guys from wherever you're watching, these players have already secured €3,500 by reaching the semifinals, but there is a significant jump. So whoever goes on to play the final is secured of 5,000 with the chance to bank €7,500.
Yeah, we're really where the numbers start to build up quickly. And making the 10 off the break here. Ava straight in there to replace it. And Victor to remain at the table, but nothing really on for attacking here. You mentioned the match against Alexa Pachel in his last, in the quarterfinal rather, he played in, and I had the pleasure of commentating on one of Alexa's matches, and he was really looking in form. So Victor will have brought his A game for that, even though it took a little bit of fortune at the end to get over the line. But it's a name certainly for our viewers just to mark down. Alexa Pachel, certainly a rising talent. Now Victor's called the push. Looks like he's pushed to a jump or short rail first. Joshua has the option to give it back. What do you think, Aya? Is he going to give it back?
It depends. I don't know how full he can hit the one here, or how much of the one he can hit off the rail, of course. I don't think he's left a jump for himself, because that one is very close to the top rail. Yeah, see, he's come around to have a look at where he wants to hit the one. That's, you know, one part of the shot. Hit the right part of the one and try to get some separation. Now, he called the pocket. I believe it's the middle pocket. Maybe it's the corner. Bottom corner. Yeah, it is the bottom corner. And he's very close. And have a look at this. That's a great shot.
that's not going to work, but the 7 may have provided cover for it, Aya. Oh. I was just wondering if that could pass from the look on Joshua's face, but clearly not. Victor trying to put him in a real tough spot, but this isn't that tough to get out of.
Now, Gethin, would you like to get some inside information on what the head-to-head record is between these two men? And when I say head-to-head record, that is mainly from, you know, the sanctioned tournaments and official websites available.
Well, I would hazard a guess that Joshua's got the edge, but please do.
Yeah, 7-6 in favor of Joshua. Now, the funny thing is, well, the interesting thing is, you have a spell in 2024 where Victor is winning 3 games on the spin, but the last 4 meetings, they've gone all the way of Joshua, and not only that, they have been very lopsided.
Oh, great insights there. And on the way the tournament's gone so far, I think that would hold up as well. You'd have to have Josh down as the favourite. I mean, on most occasions you would, but definitely on this occasion. And, well, it won't matter at the end of this match if Victor gets the spoils. The stats can say all they want. And currently, he does enjoy sitting at 1-0 in the lead. However, Josh at the table, a good look at getting from the 3 to the 4. May need to do something with the 5 unless he can just follow through and play the 5 up in the bottom right pocket.
Yeah, Joshua's looking, or he was looking, place the cue ball on the top side of the table, but I feel like if he can keep it on this side of the table, leave himself an angle on the 4, which he seems to have done, although that cue ball rolled on a bit further than I would have thought, you can run into the 5 here. Now, if he hits it at the right pace, he's either going to push it over towards that middle pocket where he's going to leave the 5 into the middle pocket, or into the bottom right corner pocket. It's all about pace and contact on the 5. Now, he's played position. Now, that will work as well. He's a bit close on the 5 ball, so this shot needs a bit of attention.
Yeah, attention given. Just on the right side of the 6 as well to float over for better shape on the 7. He's got us quiet in the box, Aya. It's a bit of anticipation.
Yeah, I think, you know, the best compliment we can give both of these players, sometimes the play is so good, you just feel like there's nothing valuable you can add to it.
No. And you're looking for problems that they're just not going to find. But this is the level that we've come to expect. And this second Euro Tour of 2026 is not failing to deliver. Wojciech Szewczak from Poland has already booked his place in the final. He'll be eagerly looking on to see who he will be meeting.
Well, I want to ask you this, Gethin. What do you think? Let's start with Joshua. What do you think that makes him so special?
Well, the results and under the conditions, he was, well, as a young lad growing up, was a bit of a phenom, and when there's a lot of pressure and expectation on you, it can go a number of ways, and he's not changed his attitude, and he has just put trust in his ability. Of course, he practices hard and puts in a lot of effort, not just for his own game, but for the sport. And it's really paid him dividends. And, you know, there are a few other names that will come to the front of our lips as we can reel off a lot of the great players out there at the moment. He is certainly up there fighting with them. And a real credit to the sport, in fairness. Him and his wife, Pia Filler, in action over on our other table. They do a lot with not just promoting the game through their social media, but they are regulars at so many events. And it's not easy to put that much effort in, a lot of commitment. And it's good when you see them getting the reward for it. Ooh, nice friendly bump to put the one down. Not too sure if the two got covered. The overhead would suggest it has, yeah. So possibly a push for Josh here.
Yeah, at this level, when you have two of these phenoms at the table, these push-out shots are very fascinating because it's not really a skill department of the game where you feel, well, this guy has definitely advantage in it. They can both jump, they can both kick, they can both pot any type of shot. So it really is like a chess game between two grandmasters.
Yeah, I really do like that analogy. Two grandmasters, and as in certain disciplines of chess, these players are under the shot clock. They do have one extension that they can call per rack, and in the position that Josh has pushed out to, Victor has the opportunity to take this on or give it back. The camera angle tells us that there's no edge to be found. You'll have to take a rail first.
Side pocket called. Let's try to come off the side rail. Push that two into the top short rail. Now make no mistake, he's trying to play the safety here. If he does make the two, he'll have even a better option on the three ball.
That slowed down enough as well, I believe. Yeah, good effort. Purposefully played his push shot there, Arya. Had that in the back of his mind. Certainly the clip on the three helped.
Yeah, when you have two players at the elite level of the game, they just, you know, they play the game and approach the game to a whole another level. So even that shot he played it to such a pace where he felt he was always going to have good odds to get it safe. And even though it looks a bit fortunate, and arguably it was to some extent, but it's all calculated.
Oh, that 2-ball has bounced out quite a way. Was a good escape. Lost the cue ball a little, but this blue 2 is on. Ooh, did it slow up? Did it slow up? Josh was giving it the stare as it came off that short rail. Looked like he just had to turn the cue ball over there just to make sure. So it clearly was tight. Compromised just with a trickier 4 here, but I was about to say the 5 has the corner pocket in bottom left, but it doesn't have either pocket, so he's going to need to play a great shot to come behind the 5, and look at that.
Yeah, that was definitely worth a replay. You know, Gethin, this is, well, quite interesting. I mean, on the other side of the arena, he's got his wife competing in a semi-final. How would you deal with that situation?
Well, I have a funny feeling it wouldn't be the first time. Josh picked up the World 10-ball Open recently, and in the same event, he picked up the mixed doubles turbo with Pia. They're used to playing on the same table together, on tables next to each other, and you usually see either one of them out supporting the other when they're not playing, so I don't think it will bother them too much, and if anything, it will just probably install a little bit more pride in each other.
Yeah, perhaps even that competitive edge that you don't want to be the one losing out.
Yeah, you don't want to be the one ribbed in the hotel room afterwards.
Meanwhile, just a casual, beautiful run by Joshua Filler. He's made a career out of it.
Yeah, he regains the lead. And just talking of his wife in action on the other table, Maria Teresa Rapero already booking her place in the women's final. Well, at the moment, Ina Kaplan looks to have taken the opening 2 racks. She leads 2-0 over Pia Filler. So a bit of work for Pia to do over there, but still early days in that race to 7. Just see a wrap up of Joshua's clearance in this 3rd rack, regaining the lead. This will be the 2nd of his breaks. And, well, he'd ideally like to be 3-1 up after this, but good chance if Victor gets into play that he can keep this level and keep this match tight. Got a feeling we've still got a lot of the battle to come. Oof. Great contact, made 3 balls, but look at how the table's laid out, and a bit of a giggle between the two, are you?
Yeah, glanced at Victor and told him as if he was hesitant, push.
Yeah. You don't often see situations like this after the break. Made 3 balls.
Well, make your bets. Who's going to win this rack?
Wow. if he plays the push, the first bet is who's going to take the shot after the push.
Push out.
And he's looked to tie up the 4 and maybe even the 8 in that one shot, but got the 4 up on the rail, and he'll, after the last push shot, he might have Victor thinking, what did Joshua have up his sleeve? And I think he's got the right idea here. The 2 rail, potentially kick and stick.
And that's another part of the dilemma, is when you play someone like Joshua Filler or Niels Feyenoord, you just name any world-class player, you almost feel like you have to take on the shot because they never play any shot on the table without a purpose. So when he plays it there, you pretty much know that he is going to try something here, try to outmaneuver you.
Well, depending on how deft Victor's touch is here, he may be able to play this 2 out and leave the cue ball behind the 9, but they're so close together, that shot looks far too tricky.
Yeah,
That will work
beautifully
nicely.
controlled.
Ava having a close look.
Yeah,
I think
it's
she
not a
said that was
difficult
touchy.
hit.
Extension.
Oh, here we go. This could get interesting, Aya.
Now imagine he could send that 3 ball to lock up the 2 ball with an intentional foul.
Yeah. That's nice. That's very nice. Very reminiscent of a straight pull shot. Freezing up against the 10. Ooh, this is a predicament.
Yeah, I think he needs to hit this with a bit of pace. That if he was to miss the 2 ball, doesn't want to leave the same shot available for Victor. Ah. So he hit the 2 ball first. Well, I'm glad the referee was very close. Have a look at this. Yeah, just hit the 2 first. That required extreme precision, and extreme precision he got.
Referee needed again for that one. Jacked up, looking to just draw the cue ball back. Has done that to great effect. Do like a good exchange of safety, and after the way the balls fell after the break, it had a sort of feeling about it. The only foul given up was the intentional one from Josh. And now, this unintended foul. Does the 4 pass the 10? I don't think so. And if not, Victor's going to need to just open that cluster 4-5, possibly off the 3. Oh, has he not got an ankle? That body language tells me he hasn't yet. What can he do then?
Yeah, well, your guess is good as mine. That 4-ball looks very tight. In the end, spent so much time trying to get, or at least decide whether that 4-ball was potable or not past the 10. Took his eye off the pot, missed the 3-ball. Straightforward kick shot here for Joshua. Getting shape on the 4 is going to be the biggest challenge. Now, can he see enough of the 4-ball to pot the 8?
Lovely shot. Okay, got distance. Options for Victor. None of them look really offensive, though.
Yeah.
It's just starting to feel a little tense out there.
Yeah, I mean, both of these players are well aware of what, the task at hand. Trying to beat arguably the top 2 favorites, or top 3, with one of them already being in the final. That was as calculated, and have a look at this. Maybe just slightly unfortunate to have left an edge on the 4-ball. Joshua can attack the 4 here. Let's come round to have a look at it. Now, yeah, he's called a 4-ball, so you'd have to think, Gethin, if he makes the 4, he's favourite to take the rack.
Yeah, the cue ball's going to be travelling, but fully agree. But on the flip side,
I want to see where that cue ball finishes.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. It's tracking down towards the 10. Don't hold out on us.
See, it flew off the top rail for my imagination. But, in the end, you could see it directly. Even if you couldn't see it directly, you would still be able to kick it in. So, Victor is highly likely going to level up the scores here.
Yes, indeed, and the battle will continue. I did have this feeling in the build-up to this match, Aya. I think the only sort of small print I would have put on it would be if either player had really got their break down and was break and running. That was the only difference I could really see between the two. And not so many have been really getting the consistency from the break, and that's made for some really entertaining matchups.
Left himself a horrible lack of angle on the 9-ball. Hence had to cut this 10-ball back, but safely in.
Yeah, and it's good to hear the applause coming in. I'm also hearing applause for the action on the other table as well. A quick update on the score there in the German semi-final. Pia Filler has brought the scoreline back and is now tied at 2 apiece with Ina Kaplan. So it looks like we've got 2 real battles on our hands. And if you were wondering, we will return at 8 p.m. for the finals this evening. We will have both on at the same time on our TV Table 1 and TV Table 2. And which one of these two will meet Wojciech Szewczek in the final? Well, right now, it's hard to pick a winner. The scoreline would reaffirm that 2 apiece. Both players have had their set of breaks. Now we return to Victor for the first of his second set of breaks in this race to 9.
He still holds the record, Victor, as the youngest EuroTour winner ever. And that's, of course, in a packed field where he went on to win the trophy.
I have to say, he still looks as young as he did then. He doesn't seem to have aged a bit, maybe a little bit more hair on the chin. Now, what can he do from the 1 here? The 9 and the 2 do look quite handy.
Hit the 2 ball twice.
Yeah.
But managed to get the 1 ball safe. And he's got a lot of distance in between them, so that's a good safety shot. But Joshua can see the 1, so he has a chance to come up with a better return.
Nicely judged. 1 rail escape for Victor is the obvious way, but still a great response from Joshua there. Had to judge the full length of the table. Probably like to hit low side of this 1. He's hit it full in the face. That might not work. Yeah, I felt he just needed to come a bit lower on the 1 to bring the cue ball down table. What's Joshua thinking here? Both pockets are not available at the top of the table. But the 9 and the 2 are lurking quite close to their respective pockets.
He can bank the 1, bottom right, and play the cue ball in such an area where if he rattles it or misses it, you can get it safe. And he's called a bank.
How very shrewd of you, Arya. It's a bit wide, but he did exactly what you suggested. Stuck that cue ball in a spot where, if he weren't to have made it, Victor was going to be left in a pickle and he couldn't place it any closer to the 5.
You know, you and I were talking about this off camera when we were thinking ahead of this match. Who will have the mental clarity after the quarterfinals? And judging by that shot, Joshua Filler has showed up to the party. What a great shot that was, particularly picked out by him.
Yeah, indeed, and the The womble's fallen well away from a rail and a bit of traffic around it. Oh, and a deserved applause. That was a great contact and hasn't really sold out. It's a delicate one to take on to the side pocket.
No, he's going to be tied up behind the 6-ball. Well, I expect it to be a bit tighter than this. He has left that one rail escape, so it's not per se his best safety shot. Whoa. Has he called a 1 into the corner pocket? Which would mean that he's left an edge of it.
A lovely view, are you? Husband and wife. Table 1, table 2. Both fighting for a place in the final, respective finals. Oh. He didn't call the 1, he called the combination. Made it, left the 1 over the pocket, put himself in trouble. He's got the jump stick out, Aya. This will be a big jump for him here.
Yeah, that was always going to be the hardest part. Get shape on the 3-ball. Now, unless he takes on a bang shot here on the 3, safety is going to be the order of the day. What are you thinking, Gethin?
Yeah, I was just having a look down the bottom of the table and see what Victor could possibly be aiming for. He looked like he's gone for the bank. And well, if you can't pick up a safety shot, Aya, why not go all attack?
Well, let me add to that, Gethin, because this is something I've talked about in the past. Whenever you're faced, especially if you have the skill level like these guys do, whenever you're faced with a shot where you feel that the safety is equally as tough as the pot, you should always, and I mean always, go for the pot. Because you're not going to forgive yourself if you butcher the safety and you give a hanger away. At least go for it and accept that, well, I took a risk and I didn't get rewarded.
More perceptive words from my colleague. Wisely said. I have to say, this will be a good result for Victor to get himself in the lead. He'll be back to the table to break.
Yeah, I cannot emphasize this enough. We're really fortunate to be watching such a world-class level pool, completely free, live on YouTube. Now, if you can appreciate this level of play, make sure you spread the word, make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification button, because we have so much more coming your way over what's going to be a great season in 2026.
Yeah, I agree. This is the second of 6 Euro Tours for 2026. You can get all of the dates on the EPBF website. And for some of the other events, you can also visit the Pro Billiard Series and do join their social media pages. And they've been posting some great content from this Predator Luxembourg Open, including a little wrap-up of that last rack that you may have sent to me in the build-up to this match.
Yeah, the tempo Alexa failed to make was, well, at some point in the match when they have a similar type of shot, I can perhaps point it out, but that is heartbreaking stuff. It really is, because for anyone who's ever played the game, you can miss any ball, and when you miss a ball that you should not have missed, they tend to stick for a while in the back of
Well,
your mind.
Victor making ball in the side pocket, but getting nothing on the one. That was the look of disappointment on his face. Now, either looking for a good push position or looking to have to play a rail first. What's he telling us, Arya? Not a lot of options is what I'm reading on his face.
Yeah, I think he's just annoyed with the table not breaking just a bit more friendly. It's not because he didn't hit the one square enough. And, it has to be said, because it takes nothing away of the quality that's been on display, but this match has been really a hard battle every single rack, whilst you're watching two of the greatest break and runners of the game. But such has been the table, it's not allowed either of these two players to make quick break and runs. A lot of safety exchanges, a lot of tough situations to be addressed.
Completely agree. 50 minutes in, 5 racks played. That should show you how serious these guys are taking it. They're not taking anything for granted. Oh, the cue ball's clipped the blue 2. That will not work. I reckon that one ball has got a pathway past the 9. The 8 could be spoiling the party for position, but well, Josh has had a good look at it.
I'll tell you what, I think he's trying to putt the one off the 9 ball.
Yeah, to get
And
this shape.
He's actually put Victor in a lot of trouble. Might have to drop the cue ball on the one, dead weight. Bit of a nothing shot, really. Yeah, didn't see many other options.
Well, it will work in that it's not left an open shot for Joshua, but he's looking to just drop the cue ball past the 9 and also the one past the 9, but the one made contact with it, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, very tricky when they're so close to one another. I think that one ball might just go into the bottom left corner pocket, even though Victor is not entertaining that shot. He's playing safe.
It's worked well. Getting the cue ball off the long rail, a bit of side behind the 9. Not many options for Joshua here, are you?
No, I think he's called the one into the side. Maybe in the top left corner pocket. That could be also the case. And he's got it safe again. Great camera work. Zooming
Really
in
good.
on Victor's face, yeah. I was curious to see if he was going to react.
You might be able to see an edge of this, you know, but what value that will give to him.
Well, I think he's looking to send a 1 off the 10 ball next to the campfire that is going on
Oh,
with the 7, 4, and a 3 there. Great shot.
yeah, and a tap on the table from Joshua there, acknowledging Victor's safety. But he was quick in with the call. 1, maybe pick up the second rail.
Yeah,
No.
he should be in trouble after this shot. Even though it's actually not as straightforward. After having another close look at it. You do expect Joshua to be hooked after this shot, but like I said, it's not as straightforward.
Play the 1 into the 7, maybe. Take the cue ball up table. It's not often they take my pick. Well, that was a fantastic reply.
Well, not only a fantastic reply, he's actually put his opponent in trouble. That's how good that was. He was in trouble, but he's not anymore.
This one, even more difficult to hit, so much so he's coming in from the other side, looking to find the window between the 7 and the red 3.
Ooh.
It wasn't far away, but clipped the 3 first. Now, where the 2 is, you think Josh might consider putting Victor in trouble again in case he can pick up a second foul?
Well, the thing is that 2 ball doesn't pot, so don't know how many other options he's got. Maybe he's trying to pot the 1, run into the 2 here. Other than that, I don't really see the value.
Up behind the 4.
Yeah, he's left 1 ball pretty close to that corner pocket, which makes it a bit easier to hit, but you can hit the 1 and still scratch the cue ball. So that's the main danger here now.
Well, well, well.
Now the interesting part starts, because is it worth trying to putt the 1 and place your cue ball in an area where you feel it's easier to get a safety off the 2 ball, or it seems like he's going to use the 1, send it towards the right side of the left side rail and keep that cue ball behind the 9.
One ball corner pocket.
Yeah, you can swerve this.
Now the 2 is still in its pickle. Maybe Josh won't attack this. He may look to put the cue ball over towards that 3. Wasn't far away, but hit it full in the face, and that's left to look at this one. And did Joshua's drop of the cue indicate that the cut is onto the side pocket, Aya?
It is, and he has a chance to run into the 9 or the 2 here off the top rail. It seems to be what he's eyeing up. Now, needs to hit, or at least, let me put it this way, it needs to get enough spin on the cue ball. Hit the 2 ball. Good shot.
Very nicely done. Really can just make sure of potting this 2. You see here, just picked up that spin you were talking about, Aya. Didn't get anywhere near the 9. Has popped that 2 ball out. Lovely.
Yeah, still not comfortable on this 2 ball. And when I say comfortable, I talk about the positional side of the shot. I don't foresee the pot into the middle pocket to be too difficult for him. That's why he's taking it into the bottom left. Another great shot that was. He needs another good shot here to leave himself nicely on the 4 ball. We saw some of that putting prowess in that first rack of the match.
That's not a bad result, Aya. It was always going to be difficult to get position on the 4, but this should be good enough.
Yeah. Well, Gethin, he's simply just refusing to leave the table without clearing up.
Agreed. Both of these players, and that's really why they've had to be so particular and tight with their safety play. They know the moment they give their opponent a sniff of the finish line in the rack, well, they're on it like a bloodhound. And point in question. Victor in a great position to take the second of his set of 2 breaks and to extend his lead to 4-2, which will bring Joshua back with his break, but as far as Victor's concerned, part 1 complete.
I could have done with a bit more angle on this. I think he's landed pretty straight. Might have to play on the short side now. Maybe he can draw it off the side rail. Just the smallest angle to work with.
Both these players are probably used to playing quicker matches, but this has been worth every second so far. And this 10 ball gives Victor a 4-2 lead, will bring Joshua to the table for his next set of 2 breaks. But so far, it has been really a story of kill or be killed when the opportunities arisen. But until then, we have been greeted with some fantastic exchanges of safeties and some great escapes.
Yeah, we've seen all facets of the game at the highest level.
Just a little look over at the other semi-final. Wife of Joshua Pierre-Philip at the table, it appears. No, that's Ina at the table. The score there, 4-3 to Ina Kaplan. They're playing a race to 7. We're playing a race to 9. Victor Zelensky currently leading 4 racks to 2. But Joshua Filler now up to break.
We would be here till next week. But we would be here till next week. But I'm going to point out something, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. I think his biggest weapon and his biggest X factor is the ability to change the score line with a flick of a switch. And that's both ways, whether he's in front or whether he's behind, he can easily win 4 or 5 racks just so quickly. And that makes him dangerous at all times.
Yeah, and well, I would say particularly for Joshua, but also for Victor, when they see the pattern ahead, they really do not mess around, and they can knock up the points not just easily but quickly. And as we were alluding to, we've gone past the hour point here and 6 racks played, but we could play the next 6 in 10 minutes in stark contrast. But
yeah, but that's exactly what I'm trying to say, is that even though, you know, the table has dictated the, you know, the style of play so far, yet he's 2 racks behind, he breaks, and within 5 minutes he's looking to, you know, put the rack on the board. That is just an extraordinary weapon to have.
he did this in his winners round 1 match I was talking about earlier against Adam Stankiewicz. Adam took him all the way. In fact, he got to the hill first, Adam, in the race to 7, and it was 6-5. And Joshua came out, broken run, handed over the break to Adam. Adam dry break. Joshua walked away with the win. And it was really as quick as I could say it. And that is, you know, the potential that sits inside both these players. And, well, that's what keeps us coming back to watch, in all honesty. And Joshua, with this 10, well, he's going to keep this match as much of a battle as we predicted. Scoreline back to 4-3. And he'll get the break to try and bring it back to 4 apiece. And a well-deserved round of applause. And there is nothing to pick apart between these guys. It's his top-class stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly what we come to expect, and let me reassure you, it has definitely lived up to the expectations.
What a time to put in a break and run. If he follows it with another here, well, Victor's going to be, here we go. I've got to do it from my break now. You know, it's a little bit of a mental side to the game now and again, especially at this level and competitiveness. Little brush over to take on the match between Ina and Pia. Ina 5-3 up now over there. So
And
Pia,
at the table.
and at the table, indeed. Seven dropped. Oh, not a lot for Filler to go at here.
I heard the referee say side pocket, but which side pocket are we talking about?
Well, I don't think that matters. This was what Joshua was intending, and he's brought both the 6 and the 4 into play. Now, that 3 ball the red 3, maybe blocking the one rail escape. This could be a bit of a tricky one for Victor here. Well, he's doing a lot of deep exhales. Make good contact. Had to jump over the object ball, off the rail. And jumped over the 3. Good contact, good distance between the balls, but that one is sitting there quite temptingly. Took a rub of the 10, but that's not worked out too badly. And does that look like a pathway to the top left pocket? Yeah, it does. Joshua just went up to check that the 3 passes the 6 as well. That would really help. Clearly it's tight. He's having a good look at this. Played it well. Great position. To in what has to be said, quick fashion, in contrast to the match so far. To get this scoreline back to 4 apiece.
Would like to get a bit closer on the 8 ball of the 6. Preferably past the middle line, even more or less where the cue ball is now.
I have to say, if you want to just take a quick reflection on the way that the match is going, Joshua with his break just seems to be having the easier of it. When it's on Victor's break, it just seems to be a bit more of a grind out there for both players. I wonder if that will prove to be telling as the match progresses.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take the last 2 racks, that is a fair statement. But look, before this back-to-back break and runs, Joshua wasn't having the easiest layouts either.
No, indeed. But I'm just feeling that the 2 racks before on Victor's break, there was a lot of safety backwards and forwards, and it can take its toll. If Joshua then comes back with his breaks, just needing 1 visit, well, like I said, I'm just wondering if it will have any effect in the shape of the match. 4-4. Well, this could go anywhere. We're back to all square in the scheme of the match. It will be Victor back to break. Over on the other table, if there's an update on the score, yeah, Pia Filler. She's not giving up. It's brought the scoreline back to 5-4 over there. Two real good battles underway. Victor Zelensky now tied up at 4 apiece in this race to 9, taking his first of his round of 2 breaks. Made bullseye, yeah. Good contact. Just wondering if that 2 ball is just too low on the side pocket to attack. Looks like it.
I think he can cut it in, but that cue ball is going to fly around the table. Well, I say fly, it's going to run into the 5 obviously, but it's very hard to control the cue ball, and usually these top pros never a fan of, you know, having no idea where the cue ball is going to land. All in all,
Well, that was misjudged.
yeah, and he could have left something easier than this.
What is Victor thinking? Well, I'd be wondering if he's going to get back to the table in this rack. This shot on the 2 ball may answer that a little bit more prematurely. Ho, ho, ho. That 2 ball may answer that indeed. And Victor out of his chair, quick, smart. It's quite deep in the jaws there. Just needs to be careful bringing the cue ball back out. That will work nicely. Good angle to promote bringing the cue ball back above the center line of the table for the 4. Could also come underneath it if he so doeth choose. He wants to be careful here, Aya. If he plays this expecting the 5 to stay up and it does drop, he might put himself in a spot of bother. He's played it extra slow to avoid that. Has done.
Yeah, he's not happy. 5 is so close to the rail, which means you can't really putt this too full. Well, maybe optical illusion, but that's gone safe.
Ooh. Tap on the table with the cue. That is disappointment and frustration showing, and quite understandable. This, he's already felt he should have had this point on the board. Now, he's just going to dig a little deeper.
You did mention off the back of that 2 awesome break and runs by Josh Filler. It feels like Victor is having to work hard for his, you know, breaks and break and runs, and well, that might be an indication here.
Did get a good safe eye. Got a well-deserved round of applause. I think Joshua just called the 6 in the bottom left corner as a bit of insurance. Or was it just insurance?
Well, this is a chance. Needs to cue this well. Not an easy shot with that cue ball being so close to the top rail, but if you can hold the cue ball.
Oh,
Yeah, good shot.
that was very good under the circumstances. Needs to put another good shot in for this 7. Great composure. Great composure.
Back
If it keeps
in
going,
front.
yeah, indeed. If it keeps going with break higher, this is going to go all the way. Who is going to give an inch first? Well, that's the question that we're all eager to find out the answer to. On the other table, they are really still having a battle. The score is still 5-4 in favour of Ina Kaplan over Pia Filler in that all-German affair. The winner of that match will be looking to play Maria Teresa Ropero from Spain. She beat Sara Rocha 7-4 in her semi-final. And the winner of this match will be Wojciech Szewczak in the final from Poland. He had a great win over a very strong Huma Dorna. The scoreline there, 9-6. 5-4 here. And yes, as you said, Aya, with Josh's last 2 break and runs, Victor will be keen to ensure that he converts this next break of his as well. We're starting to get closer to the business end of this match. So Victor trailing 5-4, leading 5-4 in this race to 9. That's better. That's much better. Is the 4 covering the 2, are you?
I thought, you know, in the replay, there was a camera shot where I was convinced that the 2 does pass the 4. And I think it does from this camera angle. So you could say, after having played, or we're into the 10th rack of the match, and it's the first layout Victor has had that looks comfortable.
Yeah, indeed. And would be a very good time for him to be able to take advantage of it. Because he's going to need to do something, in my view, at the first opportunity that Josh doesn't get anything fortuitous from his break. Oh. Did he rush that? Bit of complacency?
Yeah, hit it too thin. Well, he can go throughout the entire year of 2026 without missing a shot like that ever again. That's how rare that was.
Oh, and Joshua looking to punish it with an opening cut shot on the 3. And yeah, it does get a round of applause, and quite rightly so. And that's just to rub the salt in the wounds after that missed 3. Yeah. We'll be having a little think about that 3 ball, but we'll have to put it behind him. Still in 1 rack in the lead. And that will do nicely. Does not need to come anywhere further than the center line of the table. And well, Joshua taking 1 against Victor Zelensky's break, it appears. And that should prove to be very fruitful. Five higher. Well, we both said at the beginning of this match, this could be a final in itself. And the guys are not disappointing. You have to say advantage Joshua if he is able to continue with his form from the break. And how expensive will that miss on the 3 prove to be? Well, we're going to find out soon.
Yeah, this is why Joshua is a great champion. You think you can ever get away by missing shots like that against him? Well, you've picked the wrong guy. Doesn't matter what the scoreline is. You do not miss opportunities like that against Joshua, and Victor will know that, and I'm sure he's got the mental capacity to put that out of his head. That was just a lapse of concentration. It happens to the best of them.
Five going in. 1 tricky into the right side pocket. But still at the table after the break. Iron up the bank. Did look like that for a second, Aya.
Have a look at the trophy on the background there. That looks like a gorgeous piece of trophy.
That's what they're fighting for. That, as well as a very nice prize pot. Oh, I didn't hear what the call was. May not have even been a call. What he has done is he's got cover with the 6, but the 1 does go to the bottom right corner, and quick as a flash, Zelensky out of his chair with his jump stick has called the bottom right corner. Does need to get something happening against the filler break. This could be a chance.
Oh, he's been fortunate. That 1 ball doesn't pot directly. Now filler wants to attack here. Likely he's going to play the 1-7 combination. Oh, what a great shot. That was not easy, let me tell you. That was not easy at all. But once again, touch, a thing of beauty.
Really nice. And now, Zielinski looking to make contact with the one, but more importantly, not looking to give Joshua a good look at the run out here. Ouch. Good contact, but as I mentioned, Aya would have really been looking to leave that one ball safe, and that is not safe. Everything has a pocket here. Another opportunity for Joshua to get a point on the board on his first break of his set of 2. That will put him on 6 in this race to 9. And he will get back to the table for a second break. 2 break and runs in his last set of 2 breaks. This time not getting it all his way, but still at the table.
Yeah, and ever since that rare miss on the 3 ball, ever so slightly, he's looked a bit more vulnerable, Victor.
Yeah, and Joshua doesn't need to see or pick up on too much of a vulnerability to pounce. But as we've spoken about before, Aya, momentum can shift in this 2 breaks per person alternating format, and you certainly will never want to count Victor out. And I believe there are some twists and turns still to come.
Yeah, I agree. Gethin, he's way too classy of a player to stumble over.
But this 10 for 6-5. And another step closer to the magic 9. We just heard a round of applause on the other table as well. We'll bring you an update after this 10 ball has dropped. He has done that, Aya. He has done that indeed. And a quick update from the other table. That round of applause would have been for Pia Filler. Hina Kaplan is on the hill. She leads now 6-5 in that all-German matchup. So we just see a little roundup of the shots in this match from this last rack. Joshua will be back to the table for his next break. Just wondering if Zielinski ran out for a timeout. I think that's what he's called. As we just take a look at the crowd, I do believe he's gone for a quick comfort break. Myself, Gethin Davis, and my colleague Ayat Sarabi will just dip out for a moment with them, and we'll be right back for the culmination of this thrilling semi-final. Don't go anywhere. Well, a very warm welcome back. Oh, is it a warm welcome back? Yes, it is. I see Victor coming back to the table. Very welcome back, viewers, to this thrilling semi-final matchup in the men's event here at the Predator Luxembourg Open. Which one of these two players will book their place in the final against Wojciech Szewczak? Well, Joshua Filler currently leads 6-5 against Victor Selensky and is at the table to break. My name's Gethin Davis. Back in the box with me, Arya Sarabi. Welcome back, Arya.
Thanks, Gethin. I'm sure much like our viewers, I've been enjoying every second of this match, and I have a suspicion that we're gonna see a few twists before we can fill out who's gonna win the match.
Yeah, indeed. This break from Joshua is looking promising, though. And if he can keep his neck in front and keep holding his break, well, good things will come indeed. And I have to say, keeping Victor in his chair is not a bad plan either. He played for that nudge on the 7, got rewarded. And just like that, with one nudge on the 7, this has really opened up lovely for Joshua Filler here. Brought that around the 6, lovely Arya. Now, without too much angle, doesn't need to do too much with the cue ball.
Yeah, and look, in the opening half of this match, Joshua was the one chasing Victor. But right now, he's looking to pull away, and we'll just have to wait and see. Victor can come up with the answers. This 8-ball here, this is very reminiscent as the final 10-ball Alexa missed against Victor for the victory in that quarterfinal. Perhaps the cue ball was a bit further from the 8-ball, which would have been the 10-ball, of course, in that scenario.
(7-6) is the score in favour of Joshua Filler. As you can see in the background, Victor Zelensky just about to wipe his break cue down, as he will now return to the table for his next rotation of 2 breaks. And, well, drama on this table, drama on the other table, the semi-final in the women's event, the second. These players, Pia Filler and Ina Kaplan, looking for a place in the final against Maria Teresa Repero. Ina Kaplan leading 6-5 on the hill. Pia Filler not giving up without a fight. See them in the background there. Pia Filler out of a chair to the table. Real tussle going on over there. And likewise here. But as we're getting to the business end of this match, Arya, Victor not only in a, I wouldn't say must win, but could really do with taking these 2 on the break. But for me, just really not letting Joshua out of his chair would be my ploy for these next 2 racks. Didn't hear a ball drop, and I just saw a glimpse of Joshua at the edge of the camera screen there, and try break, an edge of the one. Not ideal for Victor, not what he wanted. I think you can see it at the edge, the potting edge even. Or is he having to go rail first? Oh, it is rail first. Filler did get the cover.
Yeah, he sure did, but he's got decent odds to make this. But also decent odds to get it safe, and have a look at this.
Great result. And I have to say, very reminiscent of earlier racks in this match. Trading blows in the safety pop department. And a nice tap on the table of acknowledgement from Filler. This is the one rail escape with a bit of masse. 2. Good contact. But that's not safe. Threads the one through the gap. 2 in the same pocket. Dare I say 3 as well in the same right side pocket. Victor will know the importance of every point on the board now. This a good position, but has he just left? I don't think he has left too much of an angle.
Yeah, talking about angles, Gethin. He needs to leave himself a good enough angle on the 4 to get onto the 5.
That should do it. Okay, may draw back across onto the long rail. So get position on the 7 here, if he's finished a bit straight. Doesn't want to tease the side pocket, doesn't look like he will. And well, these guys are just trading blow for blow at the moment. Great chance here for Victor to bring it back within 1, and he will have a break and a chance to bring it all square. But these 4 balls need to sink first. How do you like that? Nerves of steel.
Yeah, I was about to say needed response, and just came up with the answers. Yeah,
As
needs
they
to
wait
stay
for the
with
balls
him.
I heard a round of applause here from our other table. I don't think it was for a rack. May have been for a safety shot. But I tell you what, our viewers are being treated to two great matches. Such a shame they're happening at the same time. And talking of matches happening at the same time, 8 p.m. is the alarm clocks you need to set. That's an hour and a quarter from now. That will be the beginning of the finals. We'll be showing both finals on our table 1 and table 2. But what will be the final lineup? Oh, wow. It looks like Ina's just missed the 10 to leave Pia in with a chance of getting to the hill. It's all happening. Back to table 1. Victor
Yeah, but
Zielinski trailing 6 racks to 7. He's breaking to bring it all square. Sorry, Aya.
look, she did miss the 10 ball, but did you have a look at where the cue ball was? It was not easy.
No, I didn't pick up on that. I was too eager looking back at Victor. Joshua out of his chair. Victor's just not getting the rewards now that he was getting earlier. More importantly, he's not getting the rewards now that his opponent is. It's going to make this a little bit tougher. That will do, that's cover. Victor is going to need to come 2 rails. He's called a 10 as a bit of insurance in case he caroms off the 1 and sends the 10 ball in the direction of the bottom right pocket. Contact on the 1 is the must first. Good contact. Oh, cue ball flirting with the corner pocket. It's come out quite a way, but still in a safe position. God, another good response. Yeah, there is an edge of that 1 ball, but still very reminiscent of the safety battles we've been privileged to already in this match. It's really building the tension nicely.
Yeah, this is exactly what Victor needs to do. Keep the pressure on his opponent, because the moment Joshua gets on the hill, he's in deep waters.
Oh, that was a nice contact on the 3 with the 1. Bit of a roll for Joshua.
Yeah, I think Victor has to call the 1 into the bottom left now. Oh, he's called it into the side, so he's coming off the bottom rail. He could even pot the 1 off the 8. Needs a solid contact, full contact. Yeah, he's given a chance, I feel. He has. And this is exactly where Joshua was hoping for. A chance to put himself on the hill with the opportunity to break twice.
This would put him on the hill, yeah, and in a real good position. Well, even 1 foot, you could dare say, in the final. But this isn't a formality as yet. Purposefully played for the 2 into this side pocket. Needs to bring that cue ball right across the table to avoid that 9 and 5. He's done it to perfection.
Yeah, this table is playing very quick, Gethin.
Now, he needs to ensure he doesn't bring this 9 into play. He does not want that in the way of his shot on the 5 after this 4. Not a problem. And looking good here. Well, I'm going to say a bit scared to jinx it, but I was going to say he might be able to screw this up around the, draw it around the 8. He's done that nicely, and Victor must be wondering what's hit him at this point.
A multiple major tournament winner. That's exactly what's hit him. And perhaps that's the biggest difference. This man has played at the biggest stages and he's won at the biggest stages, and that's why he's so accustomed to, you know, finish off chances like this.
I was tallying up Joshua Filler's EuroTour wins before we sat down for this match. I lost count at 10. Very impressive indeed. And still a young man, both still young men.
Yeah,
Great
you got to
things
bear
still
in
to come
mind,
from both guys.
he's not playing every single EuroTour. Now, I'm willing to make a bet with you. If he was, he could have easily been somewhere in the mid-20s now.
Yeah, agreed.
But he's going to pounce on the chance he got, and like a true champion, he's showing up when it matters the most. It's not over just yet, of course, but he is in pole position now. 8-6 in front, 2 breaks upcoming.
And we spoke
Is there
about
a bit more life left in this match?
Well, that's a good question. We also spoke about if there was any difficulty playing on the table adjacent to your wife. Well, Pia's in a hill-hill battle over in the other semi-final. Her husband on the hill. This has been an absolute belter. If you just look in the background, that looks like Kaplan at the table at the moment. Our lucky viewers will have 2 screens up, I'm sure, watching both matches at the same time.
Yeah, just worth mentioning, I'm sure you did numerous times, that match, as you can see, they're in the final rack. That is over on our other featured stream table, table number 2, on our YouTube channel. So if you want to see the ending couple of shots in that match, you can, of course, head over on that. But of course, as we are concerned, we'll not have you with us, because this man has potted a ball, and who's to say is not going to finish off the job from this position.
No. Indeed, and look at the angle he's left on the 3 here. He could run into the 5 if he chooses to. I do see him every now and again just glancing up to check on the progress in the other match. He doesn't want to let that distract him. I'm sure he won't, but this could be the key shot to this 15th rack. He's digging down a little. Yeah, he wanted to avoid the 5. He's found the shape on the 4. Even better, didn't need to move the 5. My mistake. A little wince, but I think that's just because of the cue ball not coming off the cushion as much, or rather away from the cushion as much as he wanted to. Doesn't really need to do too much to get on the 6, but wanted to get that side of the 6. So look to find the window between the 8 and the 7, has done. He's not looking comfortable out there, but the position certainly is comfortable for him.
Well, he's left this one a little bit awkward because he has to come on and off the bottom rail.
Oh, oh, oh.
It's not perfect on the 7 into the side. Still very makeable, but he's having to work for this.
Oh, nice, looking to play the 8 in
Yeah.
the same pocket.
It's home and dry. He's not going to miss from this position.
Well, I never want to put the commentator's curse out there, are you? You are more fearless than I am. But yes, I tend to agree. And as well as Victor has performed, I think the real difference is how the brakes have turned on for Joshua at the midway point here. And I have to say, a well-deserved place in the final for Joshua. He puts this 10, and a good shake of the hands between the guys. Commiserations for Victor Zielinski. A fantastic performance, making it to the final, to the semi-final today. But it was Joshua Filler who was able to win. And he plays now against Wojciech Szewczak in our final, which will take place at 8 p.m. In our women's final, which will also take place at the same time, Maria Teresa Ropero, well, she will have to wait to see who she will get to play. The remainder of that match just coming to a close in the Hill situation over on our table 2. If you want to just fly over there, please do go catch the remaining shots. Big thank you to you all joining us on RTL Luxembourg and Pro Billiard TV. My name's Gethin Davis. My last thank you to you all and Arya Sarabi. We'll be back at 8 p.m. for both women's and men's Euro Tour finals here at the Predator Luxembourg Open. Look forward to having you all back very soon.